go. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the Dr. Ira Show here on I Worship 96. Today, I have a person with me who is making a great impact in the lives of our young African American men and men, period. Something that's needed in this society. So I want you to help me welcome Mr. Randall Toby this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming. I know this is going to be an awesome interview because you have I've just watched you over I think I came in contact with you maybe 2 years ago and
Oh, wow.
we never really met, but I've been one of your biggest fans on Instagram and just seeing the work that
I'm
you've
honored.
done. So let's first of all, and tell the audience who is Randall Toby so they can get to know you like so many other wonderful people know you.
Wow, that's a great question. Well, after all, I'd say pretty simple. I'm a father and a husband. I'm a community advocate, especially for those that are homeless and dealing with mental illness, and a person that wants to make a difference in this world and leave a legacy so that wherever there's darkness, I can bring some light.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, let's go into, let me ask you a question. What is your message? We all have when we have a passion, of course, as you do, and you found, as we say, your niche, or some people say niche. Um, you found that message inside yourself. The first question is, what is your message to the field where God has given you to serve?
That's a great question. I think one of the messages is to never give up
Hmm.
and to utilize prayer and your spiritual self to take you where you deserve to be or where God wants to have you.
Hmm.
Of course, that came from trial and tribulation. I didn't always think that way. It was based on my circumstances and my past. But being a survivor of many things, I want to make sure that others see the light at the end of the tunnel.
And what in your message, who do you find that your message serves the greatest population? I know it's for everyone, but I most often see you. You send me clips and you tag me, which I really appreciate. You tag me in clips where you are actually empowering young men, and I think that is something that is very much needed in the world today, just globally. Young men need someone like you who can speak into their lives. So, which population have you seen your message impact the greatest?
Well, initially starting out, I would say it was adult men and women. And that is because I worked in a program with
Hmm.
individuals in the criminal justice system. And so many of them had made a mistake. People had given up on them. And I believe that I connected with them in a very special way. Currently, it became the youth, which wasn't my plan. It was his plan.
Mm.
And my wife kept telling me, you should start working with young people. And I said to myself, well, I have two beautiful kids. I'm good. But things started transpiring where I started to be in an audience with the younger generation. And that's where my passion started going to another direction.
Wow. And and I know you're very humble, I can tell. What organizations have or public figures have become a part of your network because of the work you've done with the young adults and young men in the world?
Well, one of my first or early supporters was Senator Troy Singleton here in South
Mm.
Jersey. I went to him with a project that I had. He jumped on it right away and supported us. Also working with some of the high schools like Burlington City High School and Burlington, New Jersey, and Willingboro High School as well.
Mm.
So we've had some local politicians like Mayor Barry
Oh yeah.
from Burlington City who've jumped in and supported us, if not as always financially, but always putting the word out there and let people know what we do.
Which is very important. You're a two-time best-selling author. I want to take a minute and the very first book that you had. Can you tell us where that book was birthed from, and without giving away your whole book because we want people to buy it, tell us
Thank
what it's
you.
about.
Well, you know, it's so funny. I was writing a book of my own called Sleeping with Your Eyes Open. It was going to talk
Mm.
about how we walk around with our eyes open, but spiritually and emotionally, we're dead and we're blind. And
Wow.
then a gentleman by the name of P.K. Kersey from a company called That Suits You approached me about being part of a trilogy. And the book is called Suited for Success, which is 25 Men of Color telling our story of pain, what we learned from it, how we overcame it, and how it could be a blessing to others. So I agreed to be part of the book. And it's been an amazing journey because about a month in, it became a #1 Amazon bestseller. My chapter is chapter 7, and it's called Let Your Situation Be Your Motivation.
Wow.
And what I mean by that is whatever your pain is, drug addiction, abuse, homelessness, that instead of getting angry, take that lesson that God put you in and use that to propel you to your greatness.
Wow. That's an awesome message. And I know that we're going to give the handles of where people can get that book from. But I think that was awesome that you said people got together and all men of color. Were they all men of color?
All men of color. It
Wow.
was an amazing event. And what happened was some men in New York, other men are in other states like Maryland. And it was great to collaborate because oftentimes, as you know, men don't always come together to work as a team.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's a really great anthology. Chapter 2 was just released. And I'm going to be in that one as well. And I'm very excited about it as well. I should say, excuse me, volume 2, not chapter 2.
Volume 2, yes. There was another book as well that is more recent than The Students of Success. Do you mind talking about that one as well?
Well, we're still putting the final touches on it, so we can just hold off if you didn't mind.
Sure, certainly. So we want to definitely make sure everybody gets that when it does come. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Oh, no, I really appreciate that so much.
Now, you are the founder and executive director of the Magnificent Men's Mentoring Group. So please tell the listening audience what inspired you to birth that vision, and then explain to us the services it provides and how it helps the young men that you serve.
Well, in 2013, I started working for an organization which works with individuals in Brooklyn, New York. And everyone that was in that program had either been released from prison, had a felony or misdemeanor. And one day I walked into the room and 5 men at the end of class were talking along with myself. And as we talked, their stories were amazing. Most grew up without a father, like myself. Many had suffered some form of trauma, like myself. But what I saw is some of those young men, and they were between the ages of their early 20s to early 50s, were living with women. And the women were the breadwinners, and the guys weren't really doing too much. But as we started talking about the pain of growing up without a dad, 3 of the 5 men started crying. And at that moment, it sparked in me, how often do men get together and be transparent and share our pain and experiences? And that's what actually birthed the organization. And so I went to my wife and said, listen, I have an idea. This is what I'm going to call it. We have no money. I have a dream and an idea. We're going to make it happen. And then 2014, we launched it. Wow.
And what areas have you gone to carry some of your services for the men's mentoring group?
Well, it's been a blessing. We've worked with some homeless shelters in New York City. We've worked with some schools as well. What we do, we're kind of a mobile self-empowerment workshops is what we provide.
Good.
So we go in there and we talk to the youth. We talk to adult males. We did something really special for the Girl Scouts troop here in Burlington, New Jersey, where we had 14 girls and we did a workshop for them, which was very interesting, as you can imagine. They were younger than 16 years of age, very energetic and active, but we did proper dining etiquette for teens, and it was a great hit.
Awesome. I want to ask a question real quick. I wrote a book called Daddy Knows Best, and of course, the first couple of pages, I always have stats about the number of young men who are in trouble without the father being present. I know sometimes I know my story was I had a very strong father in the home. He was there. However, he wasn't present.
I understand.
We were taught that, he provides for us and those types of things, and he wasn't present. So I want to talk about real quick, if you could just help the listening audience understand, and maybe that father that says, I'm there every day. I work hard and I come. How important is it to be present? I mean, and I'm sure you can elaborate on it, to be present, if you would, please.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't grow up with a father, as I said. However, I am a parent of 2 young adults. My son is 21, my daughter is 20. And one of the things I learned or tried to put it in my relationships with my children is when you're in the room, be in the room. When they were younger, we played games together. We would get on the floor and talk to them, because if you're watching sports and the kids in the room playing and they come up to you and say, hey, Dad, hey, Pop, look at this. And you look really quickly and walk away, you're not present.
Right.
But it's very important to be in the room and be in the room. And what I mean by that is turn the TV off, stop for a moment and pause, look that child in the eye and spend time with them. Because kids are very perceptive, more than we really know. And even though we pretend and we might be faking because we have bills in our mind or the relationship with our significant other, children know. So you really got to pay attention. You have to make sure everything's about them, even if it's only for 5 minutes, because it does make a difference.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's perfect about being present. I've noticed that you had one service that I noticed that was a part of the Magnificent Men's Mentoring Group. I do believe it's a service, was the Breakfast with Our Boys.
Okay.
Is that a service? Could you tell our listening audience about I think it's an awesome idea. And actually I had I mimicked what I thought about on Father's Day 2 years ago. I got some men and their sons together, and I had one lady come with her father, and it was maybe 25 of us there, and we had donuts and we had juice, and
Nice.
I let the young men introduce their fathers, and to my surprise, 2 of them were not really present consistently, and they came to that. So I know that this is something that is really going to be impactful. So could you please tell us about Breakfast with Our Boys?
Absolutely. Well, what I did disclose is in the book Suited for Success, my chapter, the 2 things I really focus on is my mother's mental illness, which was very painful growing up. Now, thank God she's been healed. She's doing very well, living with my sister in Atlanta, Georgia, Judy. But we were homeless on and off during that period. And prior to my mother getting sick, she was an amazing woman, highly intelligent, articulate, and very bright. And now she just turned 81. But when it came to Breakfast with Our Boys, I thought about that time I spent with my mom. And what happened is I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, one morning. I turned to my wife and said, we're going to do an event for young men and take them to breakfast. Now, I know churches do it, other organizations do it, but we're going to do it with a little twist. And so I said, we don't have the money. We'll figure it out. She said, okay, let's do it. So the first time we met with someone was Senator Troy Singleton in New Jersey. We shared the idea we wanted to do. And that day we met, he had his assistant write a check to cover the cost of the entire breakfast, which was amazing. And I knew at that time, God had put that in my spirit. It was meant to be done. So we're coming up on our 1 year. Actually, we just had our 1 year anniversary in December.
Congrats.
The Breakfast with Our Boys is a 2-hour conversation with young men between the ages of 12 to 18 years of age. We bring in guest speakers. We have a curriculum that we follow. But the amazing thing is to watch the boys' reactions. And each child does receive a copy of my autographed book. We go out to receive sponsorship so that way the parents and the children don't have to pay for the cost.
Awesome.
And we've been so blessed that donors coming from the community, friends and family members have donated. And for 1 year, we have never missed doing the breakfast. And the thing I want to share with our audience briefly is last week we just found out we're going to be the recipients of an award for the breakfast in May for the work we've done with this project.
Congratulations.
And finally, yes, absolutely. And finally, and excuse me for interjecting, we've decided based on God's anointing and blessing that in July of 2020, we're going to launch a chapter in New York City being run by Jonathan Acosta, who's been with me since day one. And we're very excited about that.
I want to say congratulations again on a job well done.
Thank you.
Don't hear a lot. It's just so much you said a while ago. I know so many people want to help, and it's a need. And I love what you said that you got the idea. You went to your wife. You said, we're going to do this. We don't have to be a church or a whole other organization, or an organization that's been around 100 years, but we're going to do this. And I love that you said that you went and talked to the appropriate person and they wrote a check because of the vision that you had. And Dr. Miles Monroe had a saying that in the time of a crisis, and there's definitely a need for mentors for young men of color, he said, in a time of crisis, creativity and innovation attracts resources. And you are a living witness. This program is a living witness up to, it wasn't like you had it, you know, you copied it or, it was authentic. And I just want to applaud you for the vision that you have. And no wonder you get an award because it is truly needed. And I love what you said about the curriculum. I think so many times people want to receive resources for projects and they're just trying to, think it out their head. But I love the fact that you said you had a curriculum. How important is that in any type of project that you have to kind of keep us balanced? How important is that to have a curriculum or an outline of what you want to do?
I find it to be very important because it's almost like if you don't and you have great ideas, which many people do, it's like driving from New York City to California without a GPS. You may know the way, but you might get lost as well.
Yes.
So it's important to have something because you want to see the end results. What are the young men and women getting from what you're doing? Is there a direction and some guidance? Because we all can do things randomly, but our goal is to build something that's sustainable far beyond my days on this earth. That if someone likes what we're doing, they could take it to a new level, and improve on the work that we already started.
Yes, I love that. Couple more questions, and unfortunately, we have to. I'm loving this conversation. I always ask everyone, like yourself, influencers in the earth, what is one of the greatest challenges you face in this arena that you're in? And then, what is your greatest accomplishment? I know you have a lot, but what was your personal greatest accomplishment with doing this? So the first one, what is one of your greatest challenges? And then what is one of your greatest accomplishments?
Well, I would say from a challenge perspective, to me, it's sometimes just having the finances to do more. I won't say to get started because most of the things I've had that were successful, we started with no money. We started with a dream, a desire, a hunger, and a passion. And the rest came based on our faith and commitment. But as far as the challenges, if we're dealing with young people, it's sometimes dealing with the parents who may not always be consistent if the child doesn't drive, bringing the kid to us. And sometimes it's the children, especially young men, getting them to know how great they are.
Yeah.
And that they come from a place where God has blessed them through their ancestors to be successful and to truly believe that even in difficult times.
And what has been one of your greatest accomplishments or a moment you remember that kind of just made you smile and say, this is...
One of the greatest moments was a young man who grew up without a father and was doing really bad in school, had a rough time. And I met with him and talked to him for about 10 minutes. And he received the book. And the second time I saw him, he said, the book changed my life because I thought I was the only one that dealt with what you dealt with. And now I'm not alone. And that touched my heart and my spirit because my purpose of writing the book was not to be famous, nor to make a lot of money, but to leave an impact on someone who was about to give up, that was about to quit, but needed to know that everything's going to be all right. With prayer, faith, and the right support system, anything could be done.
That's very powerful. Thank you again. The last question I want to ask this morning, what's next for Mr. Randall Toby? What is next? How you gonna impact the world, influence the world? What's next for you coming in 2020?
Well, one of the things is we're doing a small book tour. We're going to Miami for about 7 days, and 3 of those 7 days, we're going to do a small local book tour. The same thing in Atlanta, Georgia, coming this May. But I think the biggest thing is we're going to be working with some schools in New York City, and we're also looking to work with the probation department, both in Burlington County and New York City, to be able to reach individuals that may have been involved in the system and really give them some hope and some direction.
That's awesome. So can you tell us one more time your handles where people can reach you or get that Suited for Success or just reach out to you if they want to ask some questions?
Absolutely. You can reach us at area code 908-587-4262, 908-587-4262, or reach me on Instagram and Facebook at Randall with 2 L's, E as in excellence, Toby, Toby. And if you send me a direct message, I make sure I get back to everyone and anyone, including those that would like to purchase the book.
Thank you so much again. If you would leave a message with the audience today, what message would you leave with the listening audience? To that father that has heard you, and he's probably in tears right now because now he realizes I can do better. To that young man that's looking for that father or a group like the Magnificent Mentoring Men's Group, that's looking for someone to speak in their lives like you did, what message would you leave today?
Well, one of the things I would say to everyone is find the greatness within you. A lot of times we look for it somewhere else with someone else. But I always tell the young people that everything you need to be successful is inside of you. It's just a matter of really taking the time out to sit down, look at a higher power and understand that you're not alone. And then putting yourself on that path by surrounding yourself with like-minded spirits that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. Because neither myself or anyone else is ever successful without the help, prayers, and blessings from others. And I am so grateful for those that believe in my mission, that support me, that follow me, and that sometimes they have to lead me. And I'm very grateful.
Ladies and gentlemen and children and audience, we have just been blessed and graced with the wisdom and the knowledge and the impactfulness of Mr. Randall E. as an excellent Toby.
Thank
So
you,
we
sir.
thank him this morning. We appreciate you for coming, sir, and we look forward to having some more great things. And listen, if you're in the New York area or your New Jersey area, and you have not heard of this and you can help with funding or resources, please reach out to him because it's only going to make the world a better place if we help him and we go along. Okay?
I appreciate you as well, my brother. Thank you. Prayers and blessings to you. And thank you for all you do and sharing some time with me as well. I'm honored.
Thank you, sir. Again, you have been listening to the Dr. Ira Show here on I Worship 96. We'll be back next week at 9 o'clock a.m. Don't miss us again. Mr. Randall E. as an excellent Toby. Thank you again, and have a good day.
You as well, sir. Peace and blessings. I'm out.